Rat između Izraela i Hamasa traje duže od mjesec dana. Sve je počelo 7. oktobra, kada je Hamas iznenada napao Izrael, ubio najmanje 1400 Izraelaca i oteo oko 220 ljudi. Izrael je u međuvremenu pokrenuo kopnenu ofanzivu na pojas Gaze, a sve vreme od početka sukoba traju raketni napadi Hamasa na izraelske gradove, među kojima su Tel Aviv, Aškelon i Ašdod. Upravo danas sa nama u studiju je Eli Nacht, zamjenik gradonačelnika Ašdoda. Mr. Nacht, thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
Your city, Ashdod, is between the Gaza Strip and the Tel Aviv and is often targeted by Hamas. What was the first day of the Hamas attack like? And what is the situation in the city at this moment? How do people handle it? Do you still hear the sounds of rockets?
So it was a surprise for Ashdod, as it was a surprise for the whole Israel, of course, and the people in the south border that living close to the Gaza Strip, of course, were very surprised because there was nothing that happened before the attack. Okay, it was a attack that was planned for a long of time by those terrorists, and when it occurred, it was very massive. There was thousands of terrorists who were penetrating into Israel, and 4,000 rockets were shot in actually a few hours. And we, of course, did not understand exactly what is going on. We've been watching TV and understanding that something is happening in the south district. And there was sirens of rockets. Until now, there was a few hundred rockets that were shot into Ashdod, and about over 9,000 rockets that were shot at Israel. Imagine yourself, about 200 rockets shot at Belgrade. Okay? Of course, it's a very stressful moment for everyone. Unfortunately, the people in Ashdod are used to this kind of life, very unfortunately, the last years, because this is not the first time we have an attack from the side of Hamas, who is targeting Ashdod. Ashdod is a very important city economically. We have the biggest seaport in Israel, and some other militaries, factories, and industry that is extremely important for the state of Israel. That's why Ashdod is very interesting for the Hamas. Thank God I can say that Ashdod is very protected. It's people are once again getting back to their normal life, thanks to the technology that we have as an Iron Dome that intercepts about 96% of the rockets that might fall, and another over 80-85% of our houses and apartments that we have in Ashdod, they have a bomb shelter. It's a safety room that each house and almost each apartment has who lives in Ashdod. It's a law, actually. You cannot build a house or an apartment building without building a safety room for each and any one of our citizens. So when you combine together the instructions how to act during this hearing, we have 45 seconds to find a safe place. And of course the technology that protects us, all this combining together, it caused some casualties, also of course in Ashdod and in other cities, but not in the scale as Hamas and our enemies wish to cause. And that's why we have the ability to continue with some of the normal life under emergency. And of course we are trying to keep ourselves safe. And right now we are back again to work, to study, to schools, and trying to overcome the situation that we have right now.
Among the people kidnapped by Hamas is one of your fellow citizens, Amit Baskila, a girl who was abducted from a party near the town of Reim. Do you have any information about her? Do you know where she is?
We don't know right now exactly where all the kidnapped people are placed. We know that just yesterday it was said that they found another body of someone who was kidnapped, and now she is of course killed. Over 200 people girls and boys and children and pregnant women and elderly people, Holocaust survivors, been kidnapped brutally. And I saw a movie that was shown to all the journalists in Serbia by our embassy about how it actually happens and the brutality, how they beheaded babies' head, just cut the head of babies, burn them, and play with them football. And when those terrorists took hostages that they kidnapped into their Gaza Strip, how thousands of people, just people on the street, that the world community are saying that our innocent people have nothing to do with the attack. Thousands and tens of thousands of people were glorifying the act, and they're joining to the terrorists to make lynch on those innocent civilians and soldiers that they brought together with them to Gaza. I want to show you, if it's okay. Actually, if you're asking about I have it with me. I just been in a meeting in the National Assembly of Serbia, and I can show you. I show them. I can show you.
Yes, you can show the photos. Okay.
Those children, small children, 2 years old, 3 years old, 6 years old. All those innocent children being kept. They are not soldiers. They were not hostile. They never saw a Palestinian in their life. More than that, I want to tell you something, that Israel left the Gaza Strip, the full Gaza Strip, in 2005. All the young people who were doing these terrorist acts on behalf of the Hamas and was massacred the Israeli citizens, all of them never saw an Israeli citizen or a soldier in their life. You understand that if 2005 we left the Gaza Strip completely, so those 18 years ago, those people who are right now 18, 19, 20, 21 years old, they never saw an Israeli or an Israeli soldier in their life. And still, their idea is anyone who is not agreeing to make a Caliphate state and to come back to the law of Sharia, all of them must to die. And it's not about Jews, it's also about the Christians, it's about even the Muslims who are not, let's say, believers enough. Who are not believers enough, they also, their sentences is death. We have a video of the terrorist who is shooting young people in the party in the south. And there was an Arab, Israeli Arab, who was there. And he was shouting to the terrorist. He was telling him, Akhuya, my brother, don't shoot me, I'm your brother. And talking to him in Arabic. So the terrorist asked him, quote me the Quran. Quote me from the Quran. He said, what do you mean? He said, quote me from the Quran. I said, I don't know right now. He just shot him in the head. So even Muslims who are not Muslim jihadist enough, their sentence is to be dead. This is the new world that they are looking for, trying to bring our world to the 15th, 14th century. And we are right now in a place where we are trying to fight this ideology. We are not fighting people, we are fighting those jihadistic, ISIS, Nazi ideology, and we know that this ideology is also placed here in Europe. And it's extremely important for the international community to understand that maybe we are first to come, but those terrorists must and will have come after them, after everyone. So we need their help. And I'm here to tell the story of innocent people, innocent children, that has nothing to do, that they made no harm to anyone. We just want to live. From 48, when the State of Israel was established, we never started a war against no one. We never attacked no one. We just want to live a normal life. We have a wonderful trade with Serbia of $250 million annually. We are trying to develop a good medicine, technologies in agriculture, in innovation. We are trying to make a world a better place, a better welfare for our citizens. And beyond the fence, beyond Gaza fence, there are living people who, actually, it's not the people to blame, but their leaders. Today, we saw that they are multi-billionaires. They stole the money from the people, money that was sent maybe by the United Nations, maybe by Qatar, by Iran. All of them are sending money there. Some of this money, of course, supposed to go to the people of Gaza to make their life better. They stole this money, and the people of Gaza are sort of hostages themselves. They are also hostages because it's a tyranny that is going there. It's a tyranny. In 2007, when Hamas took over the regime and the government of Gaza, he massacred and killed all his Palestinian brothers who were opposing them, like Fatah. He killed all of them, and the people there who became in Gaza, they understood that if they want to continue to live, they need to be, aligning with the Gaza ideology. Otherwise, it will be impossible. And now today, the people of Gaza, when they are going to kindergarten, where they're going to school, where they're going on, school camps, they are educating them how to hate United States, how to hate Israel, how to hate Jews, how to fight them. We saw pictures and videos with 5-year-old children holding an M16 and stating that we are wishing to fulfill Allah will and kill all the Jews. 5 years old. 5 years old. So when he will grow up, is he going to be a scientist? Is he going to be, a teacher? So what we're right now surprised when we see that under mosques, under hospitals, we have all the proof already that we showed to the whole world. There are bunkers with ammunition, with terrorists. They are hiding under United Nations institutions. They are hiding their bombs, and they are planning on attacking the free world to attack Israel and everybody else.
Yeah.
We have in Israel a journalist, his name is Tzvi Yechezkeli. He disguised himself as a Palestinian and took a camera on his body and went inside mosque to hear what the people inside Europe, in Germany, in United Kingdom, in Belgium, what they're saying there. The imams, the Muslims, all of them were saying the same thing. We are just preparing and waiting for the moment when we can start the jihad in these countries. There are already places inside Germany and inside Belgium and other countries that the police and force enforcement cannot enter. They're afraid. There are Muslim ghettos when the government is not applied there. They cannot get inside. They're afraid. They're telling this. You're not afraid. So is this the future that we want for our citizens and for our Europe?
Yeah.
So we are fighting right now. We need to finish this work to clean the Gaza Strip from all the terrorism, from the Hamas, ISIS group. And we cannot stop. Because if we will stop, we will fail our Israelis. We will understand that all the blood that was spread was in vain. Because we did not accomplish our mission to give and get security back for our people. What will happen the day after? I will give you my idea and what the Israeli society think. I'm not representing right now maybe the state of Israel or the Ministry of Foreign Affairs by saying what is my solution right now. But this is what most of the people in Israel believe. They believe that they cannot longer live together with this kind of neighbor. And those Palestinians people need to find themselves, we need to find for them a place for a better life. For a better life for themselves. They have dozens of Arab and Islam countries. They are so worried about them. Egypt, they have the same board with Egypt. Jordan, 70% of the Jordan population are Palestinians. Qatar is sending them money. We saw how much Erdogan is taking care for them. with his declarations, with his money and everything. We have a lot of countries that could take those Palestinians to them and take care of them and give them the opportunity for a better life. And we, Israel and the international community, will even help financially to see that those people will have a better life in some normal regimes without this hatred and terror. And we need to clean the Gaza Strip for anything that is evil.
Our journalists were recently in your country. They could see what Hamas has done. How do you comment actions of the IDF in the Gaza Strip and information about Al-Shifa hospital, which is being used by Hamas as its command center?
So as I told you before, all these hospital, mosque, schools, UN institution, they know that our human approach, unfortunately, sometimes make us a little bit weak, because we understand that we cannot go and just bomb a mosque. Although other countries, when they're in a war, they don't consider any other rules. But when it applied to Israel, there is a double standard. And we need to prove everything. We need to argument everything. So they understand it's much more difficult for us to go to hospitals, to mosques, to schools. And that's why they are hiding their terrorists and ammunition inside of these institutions. Of course, our army is trying to do as much as possible for minimizing the innocent casualties among the civil population. It's important to say that the numbers that TV or Europe mass media is transmitting everywhere of people who've been killed or injured are fake numbers. We don't know the right numbers, and I'm not going to give you one right now, but I know that the only one who right now gives the numbers is the Hamas. And their, of course, interest is maximizing and growing these numbers as much as possible to show how IDF is unhuman and he needs to stop right now, and everybody needs to put the pressure on Israel. But first of all, those are 100% not the correct numbers, because they are coming from a biased side. This is one thing. The second thing, I can tell you that a lot of operations, and this is the critics that we have inside our country, we are saying that they are doing the work in silk gloves, okay? They are doing it too carefully. They need to be much more aggressive. The international community are coming to IDF and saying, you are too aggressive. Please stop. We are saying, because we know exactly how our army operates, that you are too careful, too dangerous. You are trying to avoid casualties as much as possible, and that's why there are a lot of things that they are not doing at this time, and they postponing some operations in order not to harm some others. So I can assure you 100%, as somebody who served the army, somebody who knows its culture inside our army, we are doing as much as possible to avoid innocent to being harmed. But I need to tell you, there are not a lot of innocent in Gaza Strip, unfortunately.
In your opinion, what will be the next step for Israel?
In the moment, as I said, first of all, military, we are right now, I believe, in the middle of our job. So I believe it will take another month and a half, maybe a few months, in order to finish and make Hamas demolish and disappear. We need to make sure that we are focusing only on Gaza and trying to do as much as possible. Two things will happen. First of all, we, as Israel, as a democratic state, we will have to check ourselves where we were wrong to make such a thing possible. The negligence and the overlook that happened during the 7th of October, there is somebody to blame. We don't want to deal with it right now. We need to finish the war. We are very united right now in our political system, in the society. Everyone is very, very united. You know, in the moment they said that we need a reservist to our army, instead of 50,000 people, in one day our army received 300,000 people. People are flying from all over around the world, going back home to serve the army. That shows you that people believe in our country. That shows you that people are really want to live in our small nations in safety and are ready to do whatever it's possible, whatever is necessary in order to make it happen. After we will check and we will see who is to blame and how to improve and how to make our system better and how army more efficient and everything that needs to be done, we need to see together with the international community, as I said before, for a solution which will be a solution that will hopefully last from now on, to make sure and gives a guarantee to all our civilians that never again such a thing will happen, or even will be an attempt to happen from this region and from this area. This is what needs to be done.
And what is needed to achieve the lasting peace in the Middle East? And is it possible in our lifetime?
I'm not responsible for the whole Middle East. I can tell you just one thing, and I tried to tell you this during our interview. I think that Israel, or the Jews in Israel, or the Israelis, are not the problem in the Middle East. And even before the 67, before the borders of 67, there was still attacks and terror attacks and pogroms and whatever. There was no problem of land back then. So the whole Middle East, which is giving some sort of excuse from the Arab countries about Israel, is just an excuse. Because the idea of the radicals, and I'm not saying that everyone in the Middle East are radicals, but the idea of those radicals is just to same idea of the ISIS, of the Al-Qaeda, is bring back their empire of Caliphate in this region. And we need to see how the Western world, the freedom world, how to oppose it together, united, not standing beside, not saying it's their problem in the Middle East, it's the problem of Israel, it's the problem of Jews. No, it's the problem of every one of us. Scientists are saying that about 10% of the Islam and Muslim population are radicals. 10%. It sounds not too many, still you have a 90%, people who just want to live an honest life. But 10% out of 2 billion, it's 200 billion people. 200 million people who are ready to be jihadists, who are ready to kill and to sacrifice their own life just to kill others. And that's the mission that is upon us, because what we saw right now was a promo. What we saw in Israel is a promo. What might happen if right now we will not awake from this left dream of liberal dream about let's live all together in one big nice and happy family, and try to deal with these radicals and ideologists and imams who are doing whatever they can in order to push people, innocent people, into radical Islam. It's extremely important to put it on the agenda of the day in all the governments in all Europe. That's what I think.
Mr. Nacht, thank you for this conversation and information about ongoing conflict in Israel. Poštovani čitaoci, hvala vam što pratite Telegraf. Budite dalje uz nas, a mi ćemo da nastavimo da vam donosimo najnovije informacije iz zemlje i sveta.